Hail, hail, and welcome to HomeBhoys.
Maracic sends it in, and Stubbs and Larson are there, and it's turned in by Chris Sutton. Celtic seeking a second. Maracic sends it in, and they have a second! And it's Petrov who wasn't picked up, and it gets better and better for Martin O'Neill and for Celtic. Maracic could be in, and they're queuing up here. It's another one for Paul Lambert. 3 for Celtic. And in paradise, this is the stuff that Celtic dreams are made of. Larson, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Petter delivers. Larsson's header! He's done it again! It's a double for Henrik Larsson! It's number 5 for Celtic! Petter now has released Stephen Mahi. Have Celtic got another one left in them? Sutton is there! Yes, they have! Sutton scores! It's 6 of the best, for the very best today, Celtic!
So, let's get down to business.
Hail, hail, sleet and snow. Welcome to the HomeBhoys Live phone-in show. And that rhymes and everything.
Just go back to hello, would you?
No, but that's my job is I'm the class idiot. My job. People have to have a reason. They have to have somebody that dislike, and that's me.
Well, we all dislike you, so
Well, that's the same, but I happily
dislike you. I'm sure the
I put myself forward as that guy.
I'm sure the listeners
On your
will
behalf.
welcome,
I'm actually boosting all of your egos by just being me.
I can feel it.
Welcome. Anyway, we're back. We're back together. Now we're back together. What's that song?
That fly, man. I've already fished one.
There's a big blue bottle flying around my room.
I've already fished one with wine already.
Have you?
Aye, when I was doing the stairs.
That's classy. You just took a blue bottle out of your wine and drank away.
Aye.
Brilliant.
Red wine, man.
Absolutely. You're middle class. Welcome to the Live
Oh no, man. Schoolboy.
Oh no!
Jason.
No! I can't believe that just happened.
Oh, that great patter, man.
I tell you, trust me, folks. What we just said for 5 minutes was gold.
What we're going
Internet podcast
What we're going
gold.
to do about 3 minutes of dead air?
I don't know.
We'll have to. We can fix it. We can fix it at the end, right?
That's why it's a HomeBhoys, though. Stuff like this happens. It's a rough shot.
At the end, you have to download it straight away and then delete it, and then we'll have to edit out that 3 minutes because that's just you can't help that 3 minutes dead air, man.
I know. Did anybody die recently? We could claim.
3 minutes silence.
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong.
You just did, Joe.
Oh, Paul Larkin, straight in there. Is that his knife in my back?
Missed all that good stuff about the naked cowboy and everything, man.
I know we were.
Can't recreate it. Like.
We can't produce that gold again. People are probably going like, "Oh my god, it's probably the best 5 minutes I've ever produced." I missed it all.
Not doing the chat room. Not tell us we were on.
They did. We weren't paying attention. Anyway, hello, welcome. We're here.
I'm definitely taking the controls back next week. Like.
We could have been on for ages.
Right.
And nobody would have known. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the well-oiled machine that is the HomeBhoys live phone-in show. My name, of course, is Joe McKenna. Once again, although I've told nobody.
You told us.
I told you, but you already know. So somebody's calling me Sebo.
That's the part.
Ah, Jesus. So, here we are. We'll get over this hump. Here we are, live HomeBhoys phone-in show. I'm, of course, with the Reverend David Harper. Say hello.
Hail.
Jason Higgins.
Hail.
I'm Paul Larkin once again.
Hail.
Fantastic. We're back on track. Fantastic.
I thought they were calling you Subo because you look like Susan Boyle. No?
I sound like Susan Boyle. That's what it is. I sound like Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
I
face, I expect. When I look at that face, I expect that voice to come out.
I dreamed a dream. Okay. I'm totally off track now. I've lost the flow. You take over. I'm going to sit back and drink some wine here.
Just the usual pattern.
Distraught.
If you want to join into the show, add HomeBhoys on Skype. Joe will accept your request. What we'll do is we'll leave it for the first maybe 10 minutes. We'll go around the table first, if you know, so to speak. We'll all have a wee say and then we'll let anybody call in. Is that fair enough? Or if you want to call in, you just want to sit in the background till we... It's our show, it's our ball, we speak first. Right?
It's our, if you don't like it, we're going home. I'm home.
Not like it, Joe, just put the mic back off.
And save you all. So yeah, just fire away on Skype. The way it works is we generally add people in and we try to get round to speaking to you. Generally you have to nudge me because you always go off on a rant.
But we try and limit down to 4 or 5 people at a time.
Aye, because
it just destroys.
It gets messy. It's like being in a fight. Everybody's trying to talk to each other.
People sitting. I think last week there was like Brian didn't know when to jump in, and do you know what I mean?
And you're more welcome.
You're not very good at organising who's speaking and all that.
Well, here I'm not Michael Parkins. You
just sit there and get drunk.
What you're trying to say is he doesn't shout or the tap ever to let you.
Oh!
What I'm saying is,
that's what the people in the street are wanting to hear, Harper.
Jason, what I'm saying is he'll not bring people in that are sitting there waiting.
I know what you're saying.
You know why? Generally
we're all
because you didn't want to hear anything BJ Mac had to say. That's terrible to talk like that, boy. He's not here this week, so you're going to say all that.
Generally we're all just glued to everything you say. We don't want to hear anybody else.
Well, that's
Harper boys.
Harper's thoughts in the making.
Harper's thoughts. Oh no! Oh no!
Please no.
Anyway,
well, after the success Jamie had.
Let's not get into this slanging match or whatever it was. So let's get down to business as usual. Yeah. I want to talk about the Inverness game first, and then we'll move on to Helsingborg and several other topics. And of course, if you have something you want to discuss, HomeBhoys on Skype, just call us up. We'll add you in. Don't be afraid. Don't be nervous. The only people listening are thousands of Tims, and they all want to hear different opinions. That's what it's all about. So we're going to kick off with the Inverness game, and as usual...
And the reason for that is, though, because although Helsingborg game was last midweek, it's better to talk about that game, and then it will take us on to the game of Wednesday.
Oh, well, we can link the Helsingborg game last week into this week's.
Last week it came up, do you remember last week when we spoke about the Helsinki game, then people just wanted to talk about the next European game, so it's better to just do it that way, I think.
I totally missed everything you said there, but anyway, you're probably right. So, Inverness game, and as usual, we throw we throw somebody a curveball and we ask them for a thought straight away. And of course, Harper is here in my house. First time we've been together on this show. Together since Jesus. Not since Jesus. But in a while.
Just fling it over to Paul.
All right, Paul Larkin, sir. Inverness game. How bad are Inverness?
I don't know. I don't think they're that bad, I have to say. I thought we were pretty much majestic for about 80 minutes on Saturday. I think we spoke about in the last couple of weeks about how many defensive-minded players Celtic have been playing in recent games, and with 4 attack-minded players there on Saturday and 2 fullbacks willing to support them, you've seen the result. I mean, we absolutely tore Inverness apart on Saturday. Really, really liked Tony Watt, obviously. Twardzik behind him, and I noticed Tony Watt said that he really benefited that because he knew him for years, the youth ranks and stuff. I thought Hooper, while not having his best game, really did help Tony Watt. He talked him through it a lot, and he kind of kept controlling him and stuff like that. And then it was good to see Tony Watt kind of give him a wee bit of bollocking as well. I think that's a good sign. But whether how bad Inverness are, I'm not sure how bad Inverness are, but we were irresistible at times on Saturday, and I don't think there's anybody in the country would have loved with us on that form, to be honest.
See what you said about Tony Watt there. I actually heard the boys, and I never heard the interviews after the game, but apparently Tony Watt said he owed his entire performance to Gary Hooper.
I was very impressed.
Talked to him through the whole game. And sometimes you miss things like that, the importance of things like that with a young player, because Hooper didn't have his best game. But then you've got to remember there is other stuff going on in the background, like, do you know what I mean? And,
I think Hooper proved that he's a very unselfish striker. I like that about him. I mean, you need guys like that. Larson was like that. He was unselfish. Not that I'm drawing parallels, but I like that in any striker. You know what I mean? And you could tell that all he wanted was goals. Doesn't matter who scores them. You know, very, very good. Jason, yourself. I take it you didn't go to the game, no?
No, I didn't go up. No, I watched it on the TV. I was delighted. It's the easiest we've ever had it up there.
Yeah.
Since they've come into the top flight, that's the best I think Celtic's played with potentially a makeshift team. You always worry when you make quite a few changes, and then with the middle of the park, Twardzik. For the middle up front, it was untested. You had Twardzik and Paddy McCourt and Wanyama, and I thought great start for Wanyama, brilliant. He walked up to Inverness in the morning of the game. He didn't even get a team bus up. Yep. And I heard rumours he was out wrestling with a Loch Ness Monster for the game as well. But
for his dinner,
he was just fantastic, big Victor. And then Charlie Mulgrew, but the star of the show was, without a doubt, Tony Watt. Brilliant. That boy looks class, and I think Gary Hooper is a top striker, but Tony Watt would be my first name in the team sheet now, playing up front. He's got it, and he likes to see that goal, and he just flashes and has a go at it. He's got great composure as well. I mean, when you put him through, especially, he's a great wee toucher, right? The defender doesn't do well, but once he gets by him, he's only got one thing in his mind, and the way he stuck it away was absolutely fantastic.
It was very, very simple. It was very, very smooth. It was like something you'd see on FIFA. You know what I mean?
But especially for a young guy, and he's inexperienced, he's dying to prove himself. But you're right, Harper. His interview after the game, he was very humble and just saying that he just wants to go on the bench as much as he can so that he can prove that he wants to do. He's not saying that I deserve a starting slot or anything like that. He's got his feet in the ground. He's come up. He's not come through Celtic as a youth. We paid 100,000 for him for Airdrie, but he's been absolutely fantastic. And I just like to look at, and I like to look at the midfield. I mentioned last year when Twardzik played in the game we won the league down at Rugby Park. I think he looked the part, and he definitely plays with his head up. And I can only see good things coming for him as well. And it was good to see Paddy getting a run out as well. And I've got nothing but positives. Okay, Charlie Mulgrew and that was a bit hacked off with losing the 2 goals at the end, but I'm not really want to dwell on that. That's the defence can sort that out. But when it really mattered, we were solid.
Yeah.
It's funny you speak about Twardzik, right? Because I'd seen him playing 2 or 3 times actually.
I'm going to grab the buzzer and hit that bastard.
I seen him playing 3 times in the last year in Ireland, a year ago. I seen him playing in Drogheda. I seen him playing in Dublin for like the B team or whatever you want to call it, development squad, and he played in the Dublin Cup as well. And I didn't think there was too much special about the boy. But as you said, that the last game of the season, he looked a totally different player. Like he'd really come on in a year. He looked even bigger and a bigger build about him and everything. Like he'd put a bit of muscle about him, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant at the weekend for his first start, and which is traditionally a pretty hard place for us to go, and a physical game. Like, and it's actually I didn't. And as you know me, I'm one of Paddy's biggest cheerleaders. I didn't think Paddy had done anything too special. He didn't do anything that backed up my claims that he should start every week.
No, we'll bring it up too.
At the same time, I think if you asked Twardzik, he would probably say the same with Paddy McCourt, because I was actually watching that in the game. Paddy was constantly talking to him, telling him, pointing him, pushing him, and Paddy McCourt talked Twardzik through that game. I think the same as Hooper did with Watt. For me, I think Paddy's done as a left winger. I think players know he drops the shoulder, gets by one guy, and he can't get by the second guy anymore. They just know how to play him, right? And he's not at the skill levels of Messi, where he's just that good. I'm not saying he's a one-trick pony, but that kind of he's not got his left winger anymore. People know how to play him. I'd rather see him play a central midfield role.
I think he's a player that over time other players can figure out quickly.
Definitely.
Well, he put the ball through to young Watt for his goal.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jason. I think he's the best passer we've got in the squad.
He's a fantastic passer of the ball.
I think he could play centre midfield, and I think he might play there on Wednesday night, because obviously we've no midfielders, and I think he'll maybe move inside. Twardzik will come out of the team, and Samaras, if he's fit. I mean, I don't know who's going to be fit. Samaras will probably come back in, so you could see Samaras going to the left wing, and maybe Paddy coming inside, because who else is going to play centre midfield? Him and one year.
I think as well, Lenny might have been listening to Terry in the show last week, because Terry was on about the tempo. We should be at it for the first whistle, and we certainly were on Saturday.
And midweek.
You know, midweek, obviously. But we were at it for the first, when midweek we were, and then we sort of fell away, but then started the second half was brilliant. But no, on Saturday we were at it for the first whistle, and the game was never in any doubt. Man Mountain put us one up, and that was it. The game was over. I was absolutely delighted, and as I say, that's the easiest we've had it, because we struggle up there. We struggle up there every time.
I thought Azagiri looked more back to his old self. I thought Azagiri had a decent enough game at the weekend. He was getting forward better. I thought.
I still expect more from him.
I think
a lot more.
It's heading in that direction. I think he's getting better.
But I have a feeling though that Champions League should be, fingers crossed, half knocking on wood, should be getting the Champions League. I think that'll be the place that players like that are made. I mean, if he is the guy we think he is, that's where you'll find out, I think.
Well, it's safe to say if we get in the Champions League, teams don't really put an emphasis on our guys. See, a lot of our players where we think, he's a danger man. Teams like Barcelona aren't really concentrating on us. They just get to play their own game. So whoever we've got, it gives them a chance to shine, because we are the underdogs. We are the ones that are setting our stall out to look at the opposition potentially, so it gives a bit more freedom, whereas we're playing in the SPL, we're probably playing guys who've got maybe 8 guys behind the ball most of the game, so it frees them up, and I can only see positives, and I was absolutely delighted with Saturday.
Well, so was I. Everything's looking really, really good. I think we might be a surprise package in the Champions League this year.
Do you know what I liked about Saturday? And me and Jason were kind of talking about this before the game. It could quite easily have been a 3-5-2. We were setting up with the lineup before you seen them going to the park, but it was a 4-4-2. Matthews and Lustig were kind of swatting the right midfield role. One was going forward, one was staying back. It was more a 4-4-2. And I think we learned the lesson, Jason, in the Ross County game, because it was too packed in the midfield when we had that 5 and they had the 5. And I think actually us reverting to that 4-4-2 gave us room to play.
Aye, because when you're starting with Matthews, Azagiri, Wilson, Mulgrew and Lustig, you're like, how are they going to set up here? Because essentially we only had 2 midfield, with McCourt and Twardzik and Wanyama, so you've got 3 midfielders, so you're saying, how's it going to set up? Obviously, you're playing, it was like 4-4-2, because you didn't know whether it was going to be 3-5-2 or 4-4-2, but it did look like more of a 4-4-2, and I think Kelvin Wilson's been looking alright. I don't know.
He has.
Aye, not too bad.
Do you know who's that looking good? Mo Bangura. See, if you look at the window, you probably see one of his shots going past.
Let's just deal with this now. What's happened there?
I think. See,
how did he pay 2.2 million?
I was telling you, I think Larson was bad connection on the phone. He was looking for Joe Bangura,
Because I know there's this story going about we got the wrong bank.
Joe Bangura, the folk singer.
Joe Bangura is a genius. Mo Bangura, I don't know.
How did this come about, man? I'm picking up a lot of this for the Temporary Stand podcast because I listened to him this morning, and they were saying John Park said he scouted this guy. And I know, like, you can't get them all, but how do you pay 2.2 million for a guy who he's never done anything in his career?
Is there a possibility that there's twins? We got the wrong one.
It's baffling. I mean, we all know Lenny didn't want him, right? We say Lenny didn't want him. I think we all can accept that, right? Whether you think that's right or wrong, personally, I do think Lennon didn't want him, right? So, but who's deciding to pay 2.2 million for him? What did they see? Because when you look back at his record, he's not scored goals in Sweden or that anywhere. 13 goals in a season or something he had in his last club where we signed him.
He must be the son of some sheik or something. I don't know.
It's completely and utterly. When you think about, this was only a year ago, right? We bought this guy, right? If we were going to spend
a long year,
if you think about us going out and spending 2.2 million now, we'd be expecting somebody pretty good for 2.2 million.
Expecting goals, and more goals.
So, I mean, you're talking about Johnny Russell. You could probably get Johnny Russell for less than that.
Johnny Russell heartbeat.
So what I'm saying is, how did we get landed with, when we're so prudent with our money and that, right? How did we get landed with a guy like that at that price who just quite? I know he's not had a lot of game time, right? But let's be honest, we've all watched football long enough. He's had enough wee chances that he's just not done nothing.
How old is he?
I don't know.
How old is Mo Bangura? I mean,
only 23 or something like that.
23.
I think, see when you're spending in that market, see the 1 million to the 2 million sort of price range, I think for every 2 good ones you're going to get a donkey. I just think that's the gamble when you're spending on about that price range, because you're not buying like top class players. You're sort of maybe taking a punt at certain players. Think you can maybe mould them into something. And obviously when you're buying guys from abroad, you're obviously not watching them week in, week out. You're relying on videos, you're relying on second-hand information, you're relying on other stuff. So I just think that's an occupational hazard when you're spending that kind of money. But just one point about how we won.
Jason, I just want to sort of expand on what you're saying there before you move on from that, though. But the thing about that, though, is, right, if you're only buying a limited amount of players and spending limited money, I don't think we should be spending 2-odd million on a player the manager doesn't want. Yeah. Do you know what I mean, Jason? Sorry, taking a flyer on a player if the manager thinks he's somebody that he can mould into a player, but if it's a guy who's not even looking at and wanting.
Well, wasn't he recommended by Henrik Larsson?
I don't know how much of that.
Well, if he was, I have a feeling Henrik was getting a kickback.
Must have been another Henrik Larsson.
Was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we sign him in the January window?
Yeah.
No,
it was
last year.
No, was it last year in the summer?
This time last year.
Was
right?
it not? No.
Was this time last year?
He actually, if you remember, Neil Lennon was actually looking at Diawara in Portugal the night Celtic signed him.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they said, "Oh, but by the way, we can't get a visa for Diawara now," which obviously the Spanish club never had a problem with. But you know, look, as far as I'm concerned, Harper asked 100 times, "What's the reason?" The reason is somebody benefited to £2.2 million. That's why we've got him.
Yeah.
Now, who that was, I don't know.
That's kind of all I can sort of come up with myself. Something else, or my brain's gone blank.
Somebody in the chat room saying, "Is my feed the only one breaking up?" So we'll have to try and. If anybody in the chat room can tell us how your sound is, is it just Mr. Mac fun?
We had sound issues last week because my mic was up too loud, but this week should be okay because it's turned down. Sure, we'll find out.
Just another point about the game on Saturday.
Yeah, sorry,
Inverness. Because we struggled against Ross County and we mullered Inverness, and one of my good friends is the legend Mr. Highway. He puts it solely down to Ross Totley's transfer to Ross County. He thinks he's the best centre back in Europe. So he says that's why we struggled against Ross County, because the Rock.
He's a right back, isn't he?
The Totley fella. Is he a right back?
Right
Doesn't
back.
matter. He just controls the full defence.
Right.
So it's a bit of a wind that has been going on for years here. Celtic should have signed him years ago.
I think it's pretty simple. Last week against Ross County, Gary Hooper and Tony Watt weren't playing, you know, and then they went up front against an average defence and destroyed them. You know, that's if you'd thrown the balls into the box and the chances we had into Hooper or Watt last week, we would have won about 5-1.
Aye, that's a great point. Because see, Tony Watt. I mean, if you're young enough, you're good enough, and he's certainly good enough. And
it's like what you said about the pass from McCourt. It was a great pass outside of the foot. But it's the turny pace with Watt that makes the pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I mean, we've seen the guy. I know we'll come on to this, but the guy for Helsingborg, when Matthews made the mistake, he ran through, hesitate. Matthews did it. Tony Watt straight in, boom. That's it. That's what you're looking for, eh? Just that kind of no fear to score.
The only way you'll stop Tony Watt is with kryptonite.
He is. But that picture, I had this idea that Tony Watt looks like a young Clark Kent. Put a pair of specs on him, and he's perfect.
I can see that.
But the boy Tal Fanzine on
Twitter, they
sent us the picture of remember the boy for the Levi's ad in the laundrette?
People call me the Space Cowboy.
I mean, this is
double.
It is a double. You would think it was him in the advert. Like, I was actually going to open the show with that night. I forgot all about it. I told the boys I would.
And my cousin Colin has a friend who is the double of Tony Watt as well. Tony Watt must be. His father has lots of kids. Don't know. Not trying to put cast aspersions on the Watt family there before anybody starts anything. We got an email in, right? About from who did we get it from, Harper?
Guy in Australia. He emailed us the week
Jim.
I forgot to.
Jim Renix. Oh, sorry. We've been joined by Steve Monaghan, Vincent the Parrot. I forgot to bring him in.
Terry as well.
Steve, are you there? Sorry, Steve. We totally forgot about you. Version of the Watt family there before anybody starts anything. We got an email in, right? Who has their Spreaker on?
Somebody has their...
I've turned mine down.
That's Shifty Shooks out, Davey, you alright?
Alright, mate.
And Terry O'Neill has joined us too. Terry, you there?
How's it going, guys?
Sounds well. Terry O'Neill.
Alright, Terry.
We've got Stephen
I know
Monaghan.
your names are sweet.
Stephen Monaghan, Terry O'Neill and Shifty Shooks, Davey, from Over and Over, joined us too.
The Parrot was up at the game at Inverness, so...
Let's talk to the Parrot then.
Bring Stephen in.
Stephen, game-wise, did you see the same game we seen, or...
I was texting Paul during the game, actually. I mean, I'm hopeless. The way you guys can analyse every ball and pass sort of thing to
We're
me.
just making it up.
I never even seen the game.
Just the way... usually this season I was just going to solely look at Wanyama, but as soon as Tony Watt was on the pitch, he never stopped running for 90 minutes. He absolutely terrorised that Inverness defence. They didn't stop running or try to cover his runs for 90 minutes. He was... the whole Celtic end were just, when they got that pass from Twazik and it went in the net, it was just a long time since I've seen a goal executed like that by a Celtic player. The lad I was sitting beside last season for one of the games, his cousin's in the development squad, and they reckoned that Twazik was the prospect for this season to break through. They all had the highest hopes for him, but I probably went up in the maddest supporters bus in history. That wasn't my best idea, but that was a good day, aye.
Which supporters bus did you go on?
To be honest, there was 3 arrests. 2 people refused for the gun. Girl lost her hair extensions on the bus. The toilet broke down 20 minutes into the journey. It felt like being a Sevco player, the bus. It ended up with it. I hope we don't get shut off for this. I'll have to tell this story. We got maybe 20 minutes outside Inverness, and the boys had drank too much Starbucks going up the motorway, and we stopped over for a pee break. And there was 2 middle-class teenage girls in the bus, and the convener of the bus, James, said, "Ladies, do you want to jump over the bush for a pee?" And the girl said, "It's okay, Jim, I've not had a kid yet, I've got total control of my pelvic muscle area." The whole bus just went silent, so it was one of the journeys. But no, it was a good day out, guys. I mean, I know you've got a lot of guys on, so I'll just make a couple of points and then I'll vanish if that's all right.
No, fair, Stephen, you're more welcome, mate, far away.
Stephen, does the bus convener share his name with a famous pop star?
I'm saying nothing.
He's a good mate, right?
I will say the new club doctor's son was up the back of the bus. That's all I'll say.
Is he a gynecologist?
Anything. I'm sitting there reading the Times with a bottle of sparkling water, and I won't tell you what review that got. The only thing I'd say is that I'd text Paul about it. I mean, I bought my first newspaper for months on Saturday, and there was an excellent article by a journalist called Gordon about Celtic closing down their grassroots programme. It's where people pay £30 a month to send their kids for Celtic training. The kids supply their own strips and all that, and they've been told that because Celtic don't make any money out of it, Celtic's pulled the plug on it, and the Celtic PR representative wasn't willing to make a comment on it.
Really?
That was in the Saturday's Times. I believe the name's Phil Gordon. I'm not too sure, but The article was quite balanced, to be honest, and it did make the point that Sevco are still running a successful thing, and this guy's 2 6-year-old kids were going to go and play for them.
So I'm just trying to search for this now.
It's kind of hard to kind of comment on that without knowing.
I'm just looking for it.
Obviously, if you want to jump back on later, it was just to give people overseas a wee upgrade. The other thing is that the story I said to you last week, my pal was listening to the show and who gave me the scoop about the Jordan Rhodes thing. Yeah. It's still all systems go, and our chief executive is pushing hard an Asian signing. I mean, just to get a bit of cash.
That narrows it down.
I think. I mean, do you remember the great 80s cartoons? I mean, the only Asian we have no tried to sign this summer's Batfink's assistant
karate.
I mean, I was thinking we could get Chick Young as Hugo Agogo and make it a run and played in the Throne Theatre or something. But, no, apart from that, my last point before I shoot off, boys, is the fact that I'd say to Paul, I had a mellow birds with a coaching member of the Rangers staff a few weeks ago. And he was telling me that for the first time in 20 years after the AC Milan game, that it was a cash bar. Players had to buy their own drinks, which embarrassed the former players tremendously. They were all turning up trying to get a few babies in, etc.
Well, they're plenty of money anyway.
It's weird though, but aren't Celtic weird when it comes to money?
Aye.
But is it an Irish thing or a Scottish thing?
But they're quite happy to fling 2.2 million at Bangura. Huh?
No, is he not talking about the Huns? The ex?
Oh, it was AC Milan Huns game, aye.
Sorry, mixed up there.
So what's that got to do with the price of cheese?
I just thought I'd let you know how bad it is over there, you know. It's
good. You should have prefaced that.
You need to tell us these stories before we're half a bottle of wine.
Exactly, I mean, we're sitting here half of the bag.
Disco boys getting it loudy. My only final point is Paul Larkin will probably pick up on it, is that the fact that how the business developer of the BBC put a tweet out the other day about how badly the Scottish newspapers are performing now, and the fact that the Glasgow Herald and the Sunday Herald have taken themselves out the weekly ratings things and will only announce their sales every 6 months now.
Good. I read that.
Good.
We're actually thinking about starting up a daily newspaper. Hail me.
Aye.
Joe's got it run it. Joe's a journalist.
I am a journalist.
You're not supposed to laugh at that. You are a journalist.
I know, but I'm
not doing yourself many favours.
I'm a community journalist. It's a different type of work. I deal with real people, not fantasists. I mean, like people with Daily Record, they just make this stuff up.
That's what we're going to make up.
Just make up our own headlines. Yeah, listen, if anybody's listening, which I'm sure you are, stop banning the record. Stop listening to Clyde. Those days are over.
Aye.
Those days are long over, and they're coming. We're in the middle of something brand new here, and I'm glad they're suffering. I'm glad. I'm glad Jim Traynor is suffering because he's an absolute lunatic.
Stephen, any other final points?
No, I'm all good, lads. I'll let you go to now, and I'll get back to listening to the show. Thanks for letting us on as usual. And I'll give you I think it's quite later on. I'll give you a call and give you some more cash and carry rumours. You know.
You're always welcome, Stephen. Always welcome.
I'd like to say for Paddy McCourt, I mean, the Pope Paul was giving me pelters about him on Saturday. His ball for the fourth goal was exquisite, you know. And if he's going to Port Vale or Port Glasgow's Pope Paul's hoping he's going to, I'd just like to wish him all the best, you know.
Is there any update on the thing that we might see at Celtic Park?
I'm hopefully I'm meeting with the Black Mafia tomorrow for a cappuccino, Davey, and try and get a few things organised. It's as I say, hopefully I'll get back to you in that one, and what I'll do is I'll send you a picture of it first, and then you can send it on, and I won't put it out before you've seen it. I'll send it to you, and you can launch it, whatever, pal, and then hopefully we'll get a few snaps outside the ground with it, and then hopefully get a few inside with it.
Sound.
Alright, mate. I'll love you and leave you. Thanks very much for letting us on, guys. Talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, mate.
All the best, Vincent. See you later, mate.
Take it easy, mate.
The sound, listen, just the chat.
I'm just putting an update here on that.
Some people are saying they're getting bad sound, but at the end of the day, right, when there's so many people saying the sound's perfect, it can be nothing at our end. Do you know what I mean? It'd be bad for everybody.
I'm just telling you, I'll just refresh the page.
Aye. If you've got bad sound, it's something to do with you.
We need to update the studio set. We need to get like podcast mics.
Who was next on the line? Was it Shifty Shooks?
Shifty. Davey.
Hi, mate, alright.
Davey, how you doing, mate?
Hi, grand, mate. I was just, I don't know if it was Joe or Harper mentioned about Aguirre playing a wee bit better at the weekend. I think the main reason for that is because he had the great man in front of him. Paddy ran. I've noticed a few folk earlier in the chat room saying, "Oh, he was garbage, it was nonsense." First, if it's ran the show, Paddy is the man. You play him. I would play him in the middle of the park beside Big Victor. But he's the man. Paddy's the man. Good to see him back. Hope we get a wee run. Of course, it won't start on Wednesday. Tony Watt.
Davey, why will he not start Wednesday? Who's going to play in the centre midfield? Everybody's injured. He's got a good chance.
The midfield will be Victor.
Brown will be back.
I don't know if Brown will be back.
Samaras and Commons.
Say that again?
The midfield will be, if they're all fit, Brown, Victor, Matthews, Samaras and Commons.
I don't think Brown will play. I don't think he'll be risked because we're already 2-0 up and he's struggling. I think, and I'll be honest, I'm one of Brown's biggest fans, and I think Brown should just be mothballed until he's properly fit. This bringing him in and out and giving him injections to play games like that, I don't think that's doing the boy any favours this season. I thought he was terrible last week.
It would be, but I think that's what Lennon will do.
You probably could be right, but I don't know. We have a 2-0 lead in Europe away from home, coming to the home game. I maybe think he'll be left at the team because he's definitely not fit.
And do you think, Mark, do you think, I've got a feeling that he'll keep James on the bench and he'll play Matthews right midfield and Lustig right back?
I hope Forrest starts again.
Oh, aye. So they are again, but I think he'll be a bit more conservative.
You're probably right. No, you're probably right. That's kind of the...
But my other point I was going to make, do you watch...
Freddy Cook.
Boardwalk Empire.
What?
I do. I watch Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, I love it.
Well, do you know, I think that's where Charlie McGrew and Tony Watt have modelled their hairstyles off
they're well creamed out their nut.
Last year, I saw a couple of the next gen games at Parkhead, Celtic against Barcelona and Celtic against was it Marseille or somebody, but anyway, I thought when I saw that team last year that there was only a couple of boys that physically could make the step up, and Tony Watt was one of them, and he just looks totally natural when he's played in the first team. So I still want us to sign an experienced forward, especially if we make it to Champions League. But other than that, there's no point signing any other projects or whatever. Tony Watt's there, so give him a run unless we sign somebody sort of top class, which we won't.
I agree with that. I think if we're signing anybody, it's got to be somebody that's coming right in the team. No, another guy that we're going to mould or develop. Just for the simple fact that we don't need that. We don't need that at this moment.
We already have Mo Bangura.
Exactly.
I'm going to shoot off. If you're doing the quiz later, I might phone in. Other than that, I'll maybe see some of these on Saturday at Paul's thing.
Davey, wait.
What?
I'm going to be talking to you Friday, will I?
Oh, aye, definitely, aye.
I'm filling in for Housey on Friday night, so...
Aye, I've already sorted out my carry-out because I had a wee win at the horses and that the other day, so...
Right, happy days, man.
You sorted out your Friday carry-out on a Monday?
Oh, aye.
That's dedication.
I'll see you later.
Right,
Take it easy, Davey. Take it easy. We've been joined by a new caller, Danny Moore. Danny, you there? I understand. I'm just saying hello to Danny.
All right.
Danny, you there? Danny?
Oh, Danny boy.
No, Danny's gone missing.
A handsome boy, by the way.
He's bad looking.
Not bad, like.
We'll hang up on him, so. Terry, mate, sorry for keeping you waiting. Pleasure to have you on last week. Pleasure to have you on again this week. What did you think of the game on Saturday?
I thought we were fantastic. Just echoing a lot what's already been said, but for me, Tony Watt, he's going to be a star. Mm-hmm. I think it's only a matter of time before you kind of leave him out the team. He's going to be first pick. He's that good. I think he's that good. He's got everything. He's got the physique, he's got pace, he knows where the goal is. Even when he came on last week and he hit that shot, the way he hit it, you just know, when you see a centre forward, you know it right away. Just the way he strikes the ball, the positions he gets himself into, the boy is going to score just about every time he's on the park. So I think we've got a star in the making. I think let him off the leash, don't hold him back. Sure, he might go through a bad run of form, but that's when to drop him. But the new, I think you give the boy, give him his head, just let him go, and he'll score goals all over the show.
The thing that impressed me about Tony Watt is his reaction to a loose ball is just dynamite.
That's it. He's in the right place at the right time.
Exactly,
He's a sniffer,
exactly.
And he just bang, it's in the back of the net.
I mean, see,
And the way he scored his first goal, he's athletic. He knows what the guy's right on him. He gets a wee bit of a break, but the harder you try, or the harder you practice, the luckier you get that.
Exactly.
He's probably did that a million times. It'll come off people's legs, but that time, he put it through guys' legs, and he's on it in a flash, burning in the goal, and he's got a composure to just put it away. You actually see, if you watch it again, just before he strikes it, he slightly hesitates, the keeper makes his move, and he just bangs it back of the net.
Do you know what I love about it, Terry, right? And I said this the other week, and I'm not saying this proves I'm right or anything like that, but I'm loving the fact that the likes of Tony Watt's getting their chance, because this is the kind of club we are now, right?
Yeah.
Young guys are going to get their chance, right? Twardsik's going to get his chance now. See Paul Slane on the bench, young Chalmers came on, he maybe cost a goal at the weekend, right? These boys are going to get their chances, right? And I honestly believe, especially like Tony Watt, we've only seen them limited at times, right? These guys would be first team picks any other team in the Premier League, in my opinion, and we'd be crying out to buy these guys. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, I think Tony Watt, I mean, he's a young boy, but he's just got that. You just get that vibe off from that. He's no. I know Lenny says he's not much of a trainer, but with that kind of, he just does it on the park. That's it. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
That's what matters.
When was the last time we had a player coming through? Like, obviously, we signed him for Airdrie, but he still come through essentially the youth ranks after we signed him. So I'm thinking back to, I mean, Birchall never got me that excited, that he was going to be the next big thing. But I get back to Daisy Nicholas and Danny Craney and stuff like that.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching him. I can remember Charlie in his first spell at Celtic, and it was just the same thing. I get the same vibe off it, the same sense.
Exactly right.
And there was nothing better as a Celtic supporter to see one of your own pulling the strip on, but doing it on the park. I mean, it just gives you that extra. I mean, when we sign a foreign player and he does it, we all have that. But I just think there's something extra special when a Scottish boy does it. When it's one, because you identify, you think that could be me. Well, it could have been me now, but that sense that you identify with Scottish talent and a young guy for Coatbridge pulling that stripper, he's doing everything that we've dreamed about. He's doing it, but he's actually producing it as well. It's just fantastic.
I know. I echo all them, Terry. It just gives me a buzz.
I think we're only a few months away from Tony Watt scarves, Tony Watt t-shirts, Tony Watt supporters club.
I think it's didn't need Lennon as well to manage him the right way now, play him at the right times, and but as I say, if he's good enough, get him in there.
That's it.
He's certainly going to get his chances anyway. What, Stoke's out for 3 months?
Is he 3 months?
That's what I read, 3 months. So
but here, listen.
But he's definitely going to get his chances.
Somebody mentioned in the chat room, Stokes is fit, Watt's fit. Who do you play?
What?
Tony Watt.
I play Tony Watt, yeah.
Tony Watt. And
You're a big
Stokes
Stokes
fan, but Stokes just hasn't been doing it for me. The tail end of last season, he fell away. And to be honest, if there's somebody, as much as a fan of Stokes I am, if there's somebody better to take his place, well, somebody better to take his place.
We've been joined.
You want competition.
We've been joined by a caller. Sorry, Terry. Snake Plissken.
How are you doing, folks? You alright?
Are you the real Snake Plissken?
I heard he was dead.
Oh no, he'd escaped from the grave.
No, I'm the real Snake Plissken. Aye.
What did you want to talk about there, Snake?
Just a wee thing about Tony Watt. I think it's fantastic and all that. The only thing I hope is that we don't burn him out. I know that's his first start, but you've got to be careful with some young guys as well. Don't burn them out too soon.
Well, I think the squad is that young and that vibrant, and we've got that many players. I think I don't know if there's a danger of that. He's not. We're not the kind of team that you lean on one player for anything. You know what I mean? If somebody's not producing, does somebody else take their place?
See the thing about it as well now, right? I think a lot of these young guys are spending so much time around the first team squad. It's not like before when we just used to pull guys up and they went in.
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys have been part of the squad. They're training with the team a lot with guys that are the same age, and they probably feel sort of more. Well, in the past, when you brought a young guy through, he was probably maybe 6 or 7 years a junior to the rest of the players in the team, and he wasn't on that maybe same level. Do you know what I'm trying to get, right?
See as well, but he's 18, Harper. I mean, if you're 18-year-old, I mean, you don't need much more. I mean, Pele was playing in World Cup finals at 16. All right, Pele's an exceptional talent, but how long do you keep them under wraps?
Jason, do you know what I mean, though? Even our established players are only 20 and 21, so it's not like he's got to become a connection with these guys.
It's not like he's stepping into the team with Sutton and Larson.
Exactly.
Guys nearly 30.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
You know what I mean? It's not a massive learning curve for him. You know, which is a good thing. Which is it's the plus of having a young team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we probably have. Would you say we would have the youngest team in the SPL?
I think they said the team that started at the weekend, the average age was 22-point-7-year-old.
Is that youngest in the SPL? I would say it is.
It must be pretty close. And when you think about the size of Celtic,
when was the last time they had players like a team like that? Would have been the Quality Street guy.
Maybe not.
That far back.
Even then, they guys were coming in at 17, 18. Most of them, like they were coming in a wee bit older. Like.
Yeah, it's true.
Not exciting times.
Can I bring up the we got an email from just check here.
Australia.
From Australia, from Jimmy Renix.
Took a week to get here.
Jim Renix took a week to get here. And I'll just read the email, will I?
Aye.
Hi, Davey.
See how he said to Davey because he knows I'm the CEO.
Aye, you're the Donald Trump. I can tell by the awful hair. Hi, Davey. Jim again from the Sunshine Coast. Excellent program during the week. Really good for me for the show. Listen to like-minded people discussing Celtic like you're in the pub instead of rugby league. I hate rugby. Gonna disagree on one thing in particular. Kyle. I don't get it. I really don't see what he brings to the team apart from a petted lip when the going gets tough. He's a guy in midfield that Lennon seems to give the hook. Seems to me he doesn't really trust him. I much prefer Key, but it looks like he's for the off. Or am I talking SHIT?
Joe, change this for you.
I tell you, I'm a changed man. I must try.
That was shite, by the way, in case you were struggling.
There you go. See, now you're the villain. I must try and call in some time, but as you understand, time difference is a bit difficult. Keep up the good work, lads, and all the best. Jim, I have to say, I'm not going to disagree with Jim. I think Kyle has used up all his good favour.
Let's take that as a segue on to the game last week in Helsingborg, right?
Yes.
Where Kyle obviously started that game. I think it was his second start of the season. And
last.
I think he's out for a month now. I thought this was going to be a big season for Kyle. He's injured again. It's not the same ankle. It's the other ankle. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's just going to be one of these guys who just gets injured. I don't know if it's because of his style of play. I don't agree that he's a petty lip kind of player. I think he gives 100%. I didn't agree with that. I just don't know, man. I mean, I really thought Kyle was going to have a big year, but he's out for a month again, and it just seems that he's going to be one of these guys who's got to be injured all the time.
But the thing is,
and apart from that, he was terrible. He was terrible last week.
There's a lot of pointing fingers. There's a lot of shaking hands. There's a lot of you do this, you do that, and then there's not a whole lot of creativity there. Lately, I'm saying lately. I'm not saying he hasn't got nothing. He has done things, real good things in the past.
Paul, see when you said earlier about you think Scott Brown will play this Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
When I look back to the game last Wednesday, Scott Brown was clearly not fit. He had a terrible game, and as I saw, I'm a Scott Brown cheerleader, if you like. People would label me that, right? I thought he was the worst Celtic player last week. I thought he was terrible, and I just think leave that guy out of the team. And when you look at last week's performance, I didn't see any reason to bring him in this Wednesday again. When you've seen what happened last week, there's no point giving a guy like that injections. Just get the guy rested and get him fit. Because I'll tell you now, as much as the result was brilliant last week, our performance in that first half was, I was watching the game through my fingers. We were terrible. The midfield was terrible. The centre of defence was terrible.
I think you're being harsh.
Charlie
I think you're being very harsh.
Charlie Mulgrew had one of his worst Celtic games playing centre half. He caught possession 3 times in the first half.
But I think you're being harsh in the team.
I don't think that, because I think Helsingborg actually, we said they'd be a step up. I don't think they were. I think they were rubbish.
But it's a hang though. I mean,
I actually agree with Harper last week. I thought in the first half we were pretty poor. Especially by Groningen, I think we could have lost about 3 goals in that first half.
The two centre backs.
I was watching ITV. I wasn't watching STV. I was watching ITV. So Gordon Strachan was doing the analysis. That was partly why I watched it, because I like the wee man's analysis of the game. And he was saying at half time that the problem Celtic were having was that Helsingborg, although they weren't the greatest, they were quite clever. They were trying to play the ball in between Celtic's midfield and defence. They were being quite successful. We're causing bother.
Yeah.
Like I say, Ronnie a couple of times stepped out, but his tackling is not the best, and he's not the best at turning. And he was getting caught, and I thought, it's only a matter of time before we lose a goal here. So I think we carried a wee bit of luck, and also the big Foster got a couple of saves. But the second half, it was a bit better. And I've heard Lenny saying since then that he's going to make sure that that's tightened up. So I think Big Vic will make a difference. On Kyle, I really like Kyle. I thought when he first came he was outstanding. I think he's just one of the guys. He's been a bit unlucky. He's suffering from injuries, come back from an injury, and he's got another one. So I wouldn't criticise him too much.
No, but I think
a game on Wednesday as well. I heard Lenny say that Helsingborg were making noises about trying to score the first goal. So I think with that in mind, Celtic will come out of traps the same as they did on Saturday, and we'll blow them away in the first 20 minutes. Get a crowd behind us. They'll be a bit apprehensive. You see with better teams in Emmett Park, if you get going, you get the crowd going. If we go 1-0, we'll end up taking about 3 or 4 off them. That's what I feel. But I think if we go out a bit kind of not sure about myself, I don't see that happening, then that's when you get trouble. Just go out and sort them out.
Was the performance, and I kind of got this feeling watching it, and maybe this is me looking for excuses for the performance with some players, but was there a panic in the play? Was it a sense of the occasion that they knew they have to get through this tie for the Champions League? The whole thing about the money, the pressure, it all. But did that come in it for some of the players? I don't know. They just seemed like a kind of panicky performance. Losing possession. I've never seen us lose possession so much. It was actually a typical Celtic away performance in Europe.
I think part of that, Harper, but you know what I think? See, getting the early goal as well. The early goal sort of maybe knocks you off your stride a bit because you're like, what do we do? Do we protect this lead? Do we keep going? But what I thought was, people haven't really brought it up, and I thought it needs mentioned. I thought, see, at half time, I was looking at that and saying, this Helsingborg team are rubbish. You know, they're there for the taking. See if we were really to go for them. They were definitely there. And what did Lenny do? He takes Kyle off. I mean, obviously maybe it was a result of an injury, but he brings Forrest on and he makes the change, and Celtic went for the jugular. And see, in the second half, Celtic could have scored about 7 goals. I thought we were absolutely fantastic in the second half. And all right,
we Forrest terrorised that.
I did, totally Terry. But see, the thing is, Big Foster, that's what he's paid for. He make a couple of saves.
Of course.
And how many times in Europe have we been totally unlucky? You know, you can see times gone past. Rogner would have been off the park for that handball. You know, and I just think the luck was on our side, but fair enough. But see, in the second half, and Lenny deserves every bit of credit for that, for changing the full formation of the team and going for it. Because see, it must be really hard for a manager when you're winning 1-0 away from home to say, right, I'm just going to go for the jugular here, because you could end up losing 2 or 3 and look like a prize clown. But no, we went for it and it worked for us. And I agree with you, Terry. I think seeing Wednesday night with the crowd behind us, I can see us taking about 4 off this team.
I'd agree with that as well. But you know, think the Forest thing, not even as much as going for the jugular, it was an outball for us right away, because we knew as soon as he came on, just get the ball to Forest, and it took a lot of pressure. We suddenly were keeping the ball a wee bit longer, because we were just keeping the ball away constantly. He would then